Greetings, humans. I'm Andy, and I'm George, and this is Gus, and welcome back to the Windmill Full of Corpses. I think I have just one question. What happened to the rest of the theory? We haven't found it yet. That's why life still sucks for many of us. So this is part of the theory. It's a band from somewhere, made by some people, and they sing and play something. And the reason all that is in the air is on purpose, because we left it in the air. Because this is a reaction channel, and we react to so much new music from bands that we already know that not that many of our things are really blind anymore. So we tried to keep this one pretty blind. But Alexis,
what's the song called?
Famished Mammon. And Alexis from the band got in touch with us and said we should check it out. So because Alexis from the band got in touch with us and said we should check it out, we're going to check it out. Are you ready? No. That's interesting. Yo! Let's go! Yo! Nice! Bro, the way it draws! Wow! Wow! Woo! Man, this groovy build-up! Nice! Okay. Come on. Dude! This is... I can't. I'm done. Shut up. I am so happy. If the whole laying on your back at the end of the song and basically dying is because of how exhausted you are, me too! That was so good! Instant add to playlist. Yeah, there is no debate about this. Oh my god! You know what this is? This is if Mirath wasn't just pretending to be Prog. I got more Orphan Land than Mirath. Okay, fair. Mirath is more dancey and poppy. Orphan Land has a lot of those Middle Eastern type sounds, but very progressive. Yeah, but this was very dancey. Yes. But it was very progressive. Yeah, yeah. So that's where I'm coming from. You could say it's an unorthodox blend of those bands. In a way. I mean, it is Middle Eastern, so yeah, it's not orthodox. You know, like every time we say Middle Eastern melodies, it's like, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know. That's as specific as we're willing to get. Yeah, it sounds Middle Eastern to us, but we don't know. Yeah, we don't know what this is. I think this is a masterclass in how to make progressive music catchy, right? I think so. Yeah. It's not like hook. It's got like those really groovy dancey bits that get you, you know, grooving. Yeah. Wow, it's one of those where I'm definitely gonna look back at it. It's one of those where I'm definitely gonna be looking back at it and wish I was more articulate. But I'm still in a bit of, okay, wow.
I genuinely don't know what that was. I think that build-up came 3 times. Every time it comes, when it reaches like the peak level, like the beefiest groove and the most layers, then it just stays too short. And I wish it took like a double the bars or something like that. But they don't do that because they're prog. They are prog, right? Can we agree that this is prog?
So what I got to read from the press release said something like cinematic soundtrack prog.
So Middle Eastern Earth side.
Something like that, you could say that, yeah. And I think they actually also have music in a TV series.
So what TV series?
Something on Netflix.
I'll look it up.
Either way, I am not surprised that somebody would want this in a movie.
Okay, the bass is just such a great detail because you have the riffs already going pretty chunky and giving you a bit of that stink face. You wouldn't say that so much bass beef is necessary, but it is very audible all the time. You can hear it separately from the guitar, and you can also hear where it springs into some runs and stuff like that. And it's so satisfying every time. And I think on a few moments it was actually used to connect certain bits. Like this bit stops, this bit starts, and in between you just have a bass run, which is a Stardust thing to do. And you know how I feel about that. The drummer's great. It's like the groove is just grooving groovily all the way through.
Yeah.
And the guitar solo was so well done because it wasn't exactly written like a solo. It was written more like a cinematic thing, like whatever acoustic instrument we had coming in at the end, doing the whole picking thing. The guitar solo was doing a lot of that as well.
Yeah.
So had you just heard it all alone without the song around it, maybe you would have even said it's not a guitar solo, it's like a theme or something. But with the way it was introduced and how it flew into the song, it felt like a guitar solo. And then it kept going under the build-up the third time the build-up came around. And it made it even bigger. I'm so happy about that.
Did you notice the wind instruments?
You mean not in the video, but they were in the...
Yeah.
I don't know if those are sampled or real. I want to know if they're sampled or real.
Those made me think The Road to El Dorado. You remember the intro to that? Yeah. Like that.
So how much did she make you think Chell?
I actually didn't think that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't think Road to El Dorado and see her and not think that. The outfits are basically the same.
Okay, I'm thinking it now.
Except one of them's animated and, not real. And the other is maybe real. We're not sure.
Maybe, yeah, we're not sure. It's possible that she's an alien. I wanted to comment also on the video. You have the whole climbing up a ladder at the beginning, and then at some point you just see the ladder kind of falling back down later on. So I don't know if that's like the person finished climbing and let the ladder drop or fell. So I don't know what's the meaning with that, but there's definitely a bit of a narrative going on. They also had a pillow fight, and I have to know how many takes that took, because they 100% must have like laughed their asses off and be unable to keep a straight face, because she has to sit there and like, I don't remember if she was mouthing the words to the camera and be like, in character while these dweebs are, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would not be able to keep a straight face.
I would actually think they recorded the scene with them, then put it on a green screen behind her. That would actually be easier to do than try to film both at the same time.
It's plausible, yeah.
Although, if she knows what's happening on the screen behind her, she might still start chuckling.
Okay, and the guitarist, more so with his demeanor and the way he feels and performs things, reminded me of Harold from Imminence, the guy who does the bow thing.
Oh.
I'm not sure I see that. I do see that.
Because the Imminence has a lot more of a Corey aesthetic, and they're a lot more hit the ground sort of vibe in how they behave themselves.
He's very elegant.
Yeah, he is very elegant, but he's still core kid elegance, which a lot of people would think is not elegance. And with this guy specifically, they're wrong.
Imminence does not give me core kid vibes, but we'll leave that be. And then her. So, okay, somewhere in the beginning of the song, I noticed a couple of switches into falsetto that
Mhm.
reminded me of Zora from Blackbriar. But then her style is a lot more like open and big sounding and powerful. And the Middle Eastern stuff come in.
Yeah, and she's doing the whole runs through
Yeah.
long syllables, the same that flow very well into how the orchestral element and the Middle Eastern element does these sort of wavy things.
Yeah. I also like how the orchestra layer and her vocals like kind of matched sometimes and followed through the same melody.
Especially when she also starts layering vocals, then you just get this big soundscape of stuff happening.
Yeah, I think, and through the build-up that you mentioned that came in twice, that's really groovy. I think that actually happens because you have the more almost tribal rhythm kind of vocals. And then I think on the background, I don't remember if you have just the orchestra or orchestra layered with like these yodeling emotive vocals too.
Yeah. And there was somehow a weird sense of aggression in the whole thing. Like it was dancey, it was cinematic, it was fun, but the riffs were very punchy, and there was something about her demeanor that was a bit...
I think confrontational is a better word than aggressive.
Yeah. Confrontational.
Yeah.
But confrontational in this like, how do I word it? In this like innuendo-y mockery sort of way somehow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like not directly to your face, kind of like a passive-aggressive comment where someone says something and you kind of know what that meant, and you're like, oh. That was a bit of the vibe in the body language and a bit in the vocals as well.
It was sassy and badassy.
Yeah, sassy and badassy. Yeah. Are we done here?
No.
I'm very happy with this.
No.
So if you enjoyed this reaction, we'd greatly appreciate the likes and shares. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe with bells on.
Thank you very much for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed your stay, and we'd love to see you back at the Windmill very soon.
Corpse is out.